Gary, firstly, thanks for making time for us today. I really appreciate it.
No worries at all, Patrick.
Can you thank me for making it?
Thank you for coming along today also.
It's been a whirlwind 6 months for you. Was there ever a time that you felt you wouldn't be here playing footy?
Good first question.
I'm hard-hitting.
I think there was. I mean, as everyone knows, I asked for a trade at the end of 2016. They shut it down pretty quickly. Obviously, the trade's gone through now, and you know, just really happy to be back around family and happy to be back at the Geelong Football Club, the club that I've supported my whole life.
It was a difficult thing to go through, obviously, something that no one else really ever understands or really has a right to know, but is played out in the public eye.
You know, not everyone's going to understand the reasons. There was a bit going on that people know about now. You know, it got to the stage where I needed to start prioritising certain things in my life.
Was it a hard place to be when you're playing so incredibly well yourself, but the organisation, which is the Suns, is so new? You're that central figure. It didn't seem to affect your form at all.
Yeah, I think it was hard early days. You know, when you've got a list where 80% of the guys are under the age of 19, you know, I knew it was always going to be tough. You know, I thought by the 4th or 5th year, we'd at least had a crack at finals football, played some finals football. That wasn't to be.
Mental health is so topical in our industry at the moment, and the balance, and most players talk about it, the work-life balance. Was it easier in the Gold Coast compared to a football town that is mad like Geelong? Everywhere you go down here, everyone knows the name, and you've obviously experienced that your whole life.
Obviously, it's an NRL-dominated town. So no, I found I could walk around the streets and you'd get people that notice you at times but didn't know exactly who you were. I remember when I first got up there and I was walking through a shopping centre and a guy looked at me 3 or 4 times and finally got the confidence to come up and he got really close to me. He said, "I know your face from somewhere." And I told him I was Bruce Willis and he walked off thinking I was, but...
Has the love of the game wavered over the past decade, from playing in the premiership success that was Geelong to starting a new franchise and being the franchise player in the Gold Coast, to your old mates experiencing that success without you?
Yeah.
Does it challenge the love of the game?
There was times that I considered retirement. You know, there was a lot of hard work going in up at the Suns, you know, over the 7-year period, and I play football to win. I'm a very competitive person, and you know, we weren't winning as many games as I would have liked. The goal was to play finals footy and have a crack at the premiership. And yeah, so there were times through that period where, you know, I questioned whether I should be playing it anymore or not. But you know, the great thing is, you know, I'm back down here now. I'm loving the game again. You know, I'm really enjoying my training. You know, spending time around the football club, and I'm just looking forward to getting into round 1.
GaryAblett, speaking of enjoying himself, from the pocket, that is as good as it gets.
As soon as the deal was done and you were officially a Geelong player, actually even before that, the speculation was around how long can he play for? How long can you play for, do you think?
Well, I'm contracted for 2 years, so that's what I'm focused on at this stage. Physically, my body's feeling great, but it's probably more the mental side of it. You know, I've been in the game 17 years now, and, you know, I think the biggest challenge is probably finding that motivation for each training session. I think for me, it's just setting those little goals along the way. I'm loving being around some of the younger guys. I can remember what it was like for me when I was a young man coming into the football club, and I used to be excited about just getting out on the track. And when you see that in those younger guys, it also excites me. What
position do you plan on playing? And obviously, it'll be just sneaking into the forward line at the start. When do you think you'll graduate into the midfield?
Well, I had a chat to Scotty at the start of the pre-season, and he said, "Look, mate, you've got to prove yourself in there." He said, "Wherever Danger isn't playing, that's where I'll be putting you. So when you're resting down forward, I might get a shot in there. If not, I'll probably be spending most of my time in the forward line."
Our industry can be cannibalistic at the best of times, whether it's ex-players criticising their own teammates, the media with the speculation that happens in our game. Is a part of this year for you proving a lot of people wrong?
You know, I've been pretty open going into this pre-season. around how I feel I've got plenty of good footy left in my body.
Trying to get one back. Oh, he's hurt his shoulder, I reckon.
It's been a frustrating time over the last couple of years, just not being able to get my body right. I think off the back of my shoulder injury, there's a lot of complications, and I feel my body's in a really good place now. I've had a fantastic pre-season, and although, the legs aren't getting any younger, I feel like, I'm learning every pre-season, I'm improving, and I'm looking forward to showing that this year.
Do you think that'll be the underlying ruling between whether this has been successful for both parties, a premiership or not?
There's certain people that'll see it that way. There's no doubt about that, the media.
No, they wouldn't do that, would they?
No, not at all. But look, that's the reason why I've come back down, is to win a premiership. The football club's been so close over the last couple of years in making 2 preliminary finals, and I feel that I can really add a lot to the group, in my experience. You come back down here, things are done a little bit differently to where I've been the last 7 years. The game style's a little bit different. So I've really enjoyed learning that and, just continuing to work on my craft and improve my game.
You love your NBA. That's very clear. You head over to the States most years. Do you see the correlation between yourself and LeBron James? Obviously, LeBron left Cleveland. When you left Geelong, you'd already won 2 grand finals. He goes to Miami, comes back to Cleveland and wins a championship. For you, do you picture yourself standing on the podium at the end of September yelling at Geelong, "This is for you"?
I have thought about it a few times, yes. I just think LeBron's amazing what he's been able to do. Obviously a guy that's 33, 34, still playing at a high level. And I think when you see that and just hear about the hard work that he puts in, I guess it does inspire you. My goal is to just make sure I can get out there and play as much footy as I can. I know when I'm out in the field, I can have a real influence on the game.
Gaz, thanks for chatting.
Thanks for having me, mate.